Welcome to this short video on using the subject guide for controversial topics. The library has set up a series of subject guides for various topics, and you can find them at the main page under the Subject Guide tab. There's many different topics. You may find them useful in different courses, but today we're just going to look at the subject guide for controversial topics. This is like a folder in which the library has gathered a variety of information and resources for you to use in writing your papers or developing other projects. Today we're going to primarily look at the articles and the websites, but I encourage you to explore this part of the library website in more depth. So these are various databases in the article section that will provide a good source of information for controversial topics. One of my favorites is CQ Researcher, which is a collection of white papers that are written by staff members at the Congressional Quarterly who are attempting to provide a broad overview of a given topic, all the pros and the cons and all kinds of information. So here's an article on patenting human genes and whether or not the Supreme Court should uphold patents. If you wanted to research something else, for example, let's try gun control, you would see some in-depth papers on this subject. Let's see. Okay, so here's a variety of articles. You'll notice the top one was written in 1997. That's a little dated, so because there's been a lot of information about gun control since then. So I would go to the one from March of 2013. And if you went to that article, you'd see, of course, Newtown is represented in the article, and you've got a very comprehensive article with all kinds of statistics, explanations, and so forth. It's a great place to get an overview. You may, it provides a look at the pros and the cons, and so on. So this is a great place to educate yourself about the topic of gun control. Now going back to the list of databases, there's also Master File Premier, which is a good all-around EBSCOhost database with articles from many current publications. The Point of View Reference Center, which is also a great source, and ProQuest Newsstand, which can lead you to newspapers and can lead you to the New York Times. You do have to limit your search to the New York Times, and there's a separate tutorial on how to do that because it's a little bit tricky. Now, there's also a variety of websites that the library has pulled together that focus on controversial subjects. And one of the most popular, and I encourage you to browse through all of these, but one of the most popular is the procon.org site. So this is a site that is dedicated to providing a variety of information on different controversial issues, but in a a very balanced fashion. So let's try something like stem cell research and see what we get. So what it does is it leads you to a variety of different articles, should the federal government fund them, and let's see, it's got quite a bit in here. So this is a good source for controversial subjects. Back into the websites, these are all good sources. You might also want to look at TED Talks, especially if your preferred learning style is a video. There's many, many different TED Talks, and you can search their database for speakers who have talked on your issue. These are going to be reliable sources. Now, as with, there's some information here about citing your sources. Noodlebib, which we've talked about before, is a great tool. But I want to point out that in all of the databases, and I'm going to pick on Master File Premier, once you get into an article, and let's try stem cells, the database will generate a citation for you, which is a handy feature. And so here I'm doing a quick search, and whatever happened to stem cells, I'm reading the article, it's a good article, and I'm going to either save it to a disk, maybe I'll email it to myself, but while I'm here, I'll get the citation. There's various formats. They're not all the same. I'm going to go to the MLA, and I'm going to copy it and paste it into my bibliography, making sure that I put it by author's last name in alphabetical order. So this is the controversial subject guide at the library webpage, and I hope you found this useful.